Hello, everybody. I'm AT Storm Track meteorologist Austin Haskins. It has been a hazardous to, at times, dangerous morning across western Wisconsin because of widespread freezing rain. We've been having this around really since the early parts of the overnight hours, and for some, even during the late evening hours. As of 7 a.m., the bulk of the precip is in western Wisconsin, but the edge of it is coming into western Wisconsin. So the precip will be coming to an end here over the next few hours or so, but you can see the pink right around where it says Eau Claire is noting that freezing rain as those temperatures have been hovering generally between about 29 and 32, 33 degrees. In some cases, it has changed over to all rain and has limited the icing threat in a few spots where it's been a little bit warmer, but most areas have been at or below freezing, and that has been leading to some pretty rough conditions across the area this morning. We continue with a winter weather advisory until noon today for that icing threat. Now, ice accumulations in some spots could get up to that 1 to 2/10 of an inch, maybe even a little bit more than that. And again, as I mentioned, potential for hazardous to dangerous travel, though again, it'll depend on temperatures in any given location. I've had a lot of viewers already tell me this morning that, the roads are glare ice. They've, held off on travel a little bit, or we're traveling extremely slow. We've had school closures this morning as well. You can head over to our website to check out that as well. We also have a dense fog advisory as well for parts of the area till noon, but that is kind of taking a back seat because of the icing threat this morning. Now, looking at the winter storm severity index, now this just updated here a little bit after 7 a.m. So we're still looking at least moderate impacts or covered roads in the yellow, but we're starting to see not any of that orange anymore, the high impacts like we were seeing, and it's a little bit improving out to the west, and that's because those temperatures will eventually go above freezing and the precip will come to an end. So again, it's for this morning because of the freezing rain with medium to high overall impact across the area. So I would advise travel this morning until, those temperatures warm up enough and the crews can get out and kind of salt and sand things. But if you have to travel, please be extremely careful. Or even if you're at home and you maybe need to step outside, please be very careful as, your sidewalk, the stairs to the deck, things like that, those very well could be icy as well. So Future Track is kind of doing a pretty good job. Again, it's showing a little more in the form of rain here versus the freezing rain, but the general idea is that this is pretty widespread. And as we get towards midday, it does show a little bit of changeover to snow, but I think we're going to be void from that. The bulk of the precip should be out of here by lunchtime. Now, it wants to develop another band in the afternoon. Others don't really show this, so this is just kind of an outlier, but we could maybe see a very slight chance for some very light precip in the afternoon, but I think we're going to be warm enough to where snow is not really going to be a concern at all, other than maybe a few flurries if that even happens. And then tonight we're looking at cloudy conditions, likely going to have fog developing once again, and with temperatures going below freezing, likely going to have some icy and slick spots redeveloping, though thankfully not to the extent of what we're seeing this morning. Now, Wednesday's forecast is dry, but it's going to be interesting because we are expecting, at least according to Future Track, the graph model and others, to show a little bit of clearing. But some they're keeping the clouds around, and that's going to keep temperatures down a little bit. So this run of Future Track actually has most of the area clearing out, especially if you're along in south and southwest of Highway 10, while it keeps the clouds up to the north, and then it kind of builds back in with maybe some fog redeveloping. So if we keep the low clouds and fog around, temperatures are going to be several degrees colder than what's forecasted, but if we end up seeing the sunshine, there's a good chance that most locations will get into the upper 30s, and especially farther south, maybe even reaching the 40-degree mark. So tomorrow's forecast is going to be temperature and cloud cover dependent, or the cloud coverage will kind of depend on how warm we end up getting. Now into Thursday, we'll start quiet, but in the afternoon, another system is going to pass to our south, but this one is going to be close enough and warm enough where it's mostly going to be rain to start, and that'll continue into at least the middle to late evening hours on our Thursday. Now, as it departs, we may see a little light rain and snow on the backside of the system, but likely this is mainly going to be confined to the southeastern parts of the area, so really along and southeast of the Chippewa River. Then we get a little bit of a break on Friday as we'll be in between systems, although a light rain or snow shower is possible. We are tracking another system Friday night to Saturday. Now, while the main core of the system is going to track down towards Chicago and Gary, Indiana. An upper level and surface trough on the backside of the system will track through, and that will allow enough lift and some colder air to spill in to allow for at least a few snow showers to track through. Now, this does not look to be a major event by any means necessary, but it is something that we will at least monitor, of course, with it going into the weekend and travel and things like that. So we'll watch that as we go forward in time. So forecast highs this afternoon, we should get back into the mid-30s, so that should help things out a little bit in terms of road conditions and things like that. And then tonight, we're back down into the 20s. So be on the lookout for any icy or slick spots that develop. Now, tomorrow, I have highs ranging from 35 to 40. But again, depending on how thick the clouds and fog, if we have any around, are, and if we clear and when we clear, you could add or subtract a few degrees from what you see here. And then Thursday, we'll have very similar highs between about 36 and 42 degrees. That temperature is kind of take a little bit of a step backwards into the weekend. We fall back into the upper 20s on Saturday and Sunday, but then we see a surge of warmer air return on Monday as highs climb back into the mid to upper 30s.